Karl-Anthony Towns is having the best year of his career, and it's not close. He's thrashing opponents on the board and shooting 46% from deep, while transforming this Knicks offense to another level, helping New York win 13 of their last 17 while sitting third in the Eastern Conference. Cat is ranked 6th on the NBA's MVP ladder and seems like a lock to make his first All-NBA team in 3 years. His trade to New York could have been the downfall of his career, leaving his home of nearly a decade, but instead he has turned around and been the missing offensive piece and put himself in the MVP discussion on a championship caliber team. Everything you once thought about Cat has been thrown out the window. He's different. Karl-Anthony Towns is averaging a career high 14 rebounds a game. The last time he's grabbed less than 10 boards was November 10th, and over the last month, that number has gone up to 16.1 a game. This is the first time in 3 seasons someone is averaging 14 or more boards, and among actual rotational players, he has the highest rebound percentage, a stat that tracks the percentage of potential rebounds a player grabs. But purely offensively, Cat is having an insane year. As a team, since returning to playoff contention, the Knicks ranked 23rd in offensive rating in 2021, 22nd in 21-22, 3rd at 117.8 in 22-23 in the first year of Jalen Brunson, and 7th at 118.2 last season. This year, they are 2nd at 120.4, which is a franchise high and only trails the 25-4 Cavs. New York getting a stretch 5 has been insanely helpful offensively, as they've scored less than 100 just twice all year, and in those 2 games, it was 99 and 97. It unlocks a different level of offense, being able to go 5 out and helping driving lanes in a league so predominantly built off the driving kick out to 3, where the Knicks are making 10.4 of their 14.4 threes off catch and shoot attempts. It helps so much to go from Mitchell Robinson and Isaiah Hartenstein to this. Cat is a plus 9.5 per 100 possessions while on the court, and a plus 6 compared to when he's off. Yes, the Knicks are 6 points better per 100 possessions when Cat is on the floor compared to when he's on the bench. That ranks 3rd among all Knicks, and other big men, Jericho Sims, is at exactly 0. Precious Achiuwa is at a negative 6.4, while Ariel Hukporti is a negative 33.7, and Mitchell Robinson hasn't played a minute yet. Meanwhile, in Minnesota, the Wolves are 3.4 points worse per 100 when former Nick Julius Randle sits on the bench compared to when he's out on the floor. Even among all rotational players, Towns ranks 16th in average plus-minus and 18th in total plus-minus, first on New York in both. The Knicks went from shooting a league average 36.9% from deep last year to 2nd in the league at 39.6%, which also sits as the franchise high mark. They are on pace for 1,181 made threes, which would rank 13th all-time, and truly pretty much the whole team is shooting well. Brunson is knocking down threes at an otherworldly 44.6% rate, McBride and Payne at 41.2%, Kolek on limited attempts at 43.5%, Josh Hart 39.8%, and after an atrocious start, Mikal Bridges is still up to 35.1%, with the only high-volume shooter struggling being OG, who has consistently made threes at a 38-ish% rate, so a 28-game stretch isn't something to worry much about. But I didn't mention Cat. That's because he's shooting 45.9% on 5.1 attempts from deep. It is hard to even put into words of how good that is for a center, and everything I try to say to explain it won't do it justice, but let's give it a try. Cat has made 61 threes, 2nd among all centers, only behind fellow MVP ladder member Wembanyama, who my last video was on. He's on pace for 179 made threes, which would rank 3rd among centers ever, but his shooting at 45.9% is what really makes it crazy, ranking 8th in the league with players who have 50 or more threes attempted, and is 4th among players with 100 or more threes, a category that still fits 128 players. Some of the best shooters of all time, like Steph, Clay, Dame, Ray Allen, and Reggie Miller, have never shot 45.9% over a whole season. Despite heavily being regarded as one of, if not the best big man shooters ever, he's still on pace for his career highs in threes, and has not even shot above 42% in his career until now. Remember, he is a center. He's 7 foot doing all this. He's the best shooter on a Knicks team, with a borderline superstar in Jalen Brunson, and filled with wings like McBride, OG, and Mikal. The 5-out has revolutionized the Knicks offense, and Cat may just be their biggest threat, at least considering his off-ball gravity, while maybe Jalen Brunson's driving is closer, with his stronger body. But Cat sits at the 3-point line and he's shooting 50.9% off catch and shoot threes, and has made 57 of his 61 threes off ball. Cat has also just been a great scorer, still shooting solid inside and averaging 24.5 points per game, most since 2021-22, while having a career-high 65.2% true shooting. He ranks 18th in points per game, above players like Kyrie, Steph, Jaylen Brown, Trey, Donovan Mitchell, and LeBron, and he's less than a point back of teammate Jalen Brunson. He has also been very good in the clutch, as he is shooting 6 for 10, and most notably, hit the dagger against Toronto to close out a back-and-forth road game where Towns had 10 points in the final quarter. While Cat started out horrendous defensively, he has gotten better recently. We know how good of a defensive rebounder he is, but his size alone has helped him a lot, as he's on pace for a career-high 4.4 defensive win shares. Players are shooting 50.9% against him, which actually is solid considering he is a center, and many of those shots being guarded are near the paint, and this has helped the Knicks massively. After a 5-6 start, the Knicks sit at 18-10, going 13-4 over the last 5.5 weeks, tied with the Mavs and Grizz for the third best record in that stretch, only being beaten by title favorites OKC and Boston. They are an elite Eastern team and are the third seed and have some cushion to maintain home court advantage. Maybe the scariest current thing is that they would match up against the Celtics in the second round, but any slight change in the top three and New York can prevent that matchup until the conference finals, where New York would look primed to make it to the Final Four for the first time in a quarter of a century, with Patrick Ewing and Allen Houston. They are on pace for 53 wins, which would be the most in over a decade, and their relative offensive rating of 7.3 above league average is the highest in franchise history. Yes, compared to era, the Knicks have the best offense they have ever had. Statistically, the Knicks rank 5th in net rating at plus 7.1, above even Dallas, and since November 14th, they have the 4th best at plus 9.4, better than the defending champion Celtics. The Knicks have two clear all-stars in Cat and Brunson, and a collection of great wings, but are doing this without their backup center Mitchell Robinson, who will hopefully return later this season, and with an aggressive front office led by Leon Rose and Scott Perry that we have seen to make big moves, expect this team to be buyers at the deadline. Overall, there is an argument for Cat to be an actual MVP contender this year. The current NBA MVP ladder has Towns at 6th, while the ranking the week prior had him at 5th, even above Luka. Basketball Reference even has Cat 6th, while ESPN has him 7th. If the season ended today, Cat would get his first MVP votes of his career, and he seems like an All-NBA lock. With the award now being positionless, Towns is currently on the second team, with a slight argument to be first team, and though a slight regression should be expected with just how good he's playing, it would be surprising if Cat fell off very hard, and there's a chance he continues playing at this insane level, which makes the Knicks potential Tier 1 title contenders and Towns a lock for the All-NBA, and potentially even the second team. Towns is having the best year of his career with New York, and this team is legit. Watch out for Cat and the Knicks.